Acid, AC, acid.
91 defense in Philly that led the league in rush, pass, and overall defense. It does continue a trend for this franchise in the 90s. As Ron Jaworski opens the playbook, Ronnie, tell us why this defense without the big names is coming up with a lot of big plays.
Well, it's surprising, Mike, on this defense, out of the 11 starters, only 5 began their career with the Eagles. And 2 of those guys are rookies, Bobby Taylor and Mike Mula. You know, Ray Rhodes basically went out and got a bunch of free agents, a whole bunch of guys off the street, and molded them into one of the best defenses in the NFL.
What makes the Eagles' defense so good is its discipline. Against the Rams, there was not one breakdown in individual assignments, no mental mistakes. Here, Philadelphia is in its base 4-3, with the strong safety Mike Zordich up at the line of scrimmage. On this play, the 2 players to focus on are the middle linebacker Kurt Govea and the free safety Greg Jackson. The play action is designed to affect both Govea and Jackson. What the Rams are running here is the combination post-cross. It's a combination route every team runs. Jackson will maintain the discipline of his responsibility, which is to take away the deep post. Govea will quickly read that it's not run, and he will immediately get to his coverage responsibility, which is to hunt up Isaac Bruce on the crossing route. I can tell you from all my film study that very few linebackers take away the inside crossing route the way Govea consistently does. As you can see, Chris Miller has nowhere to go with the football. This is the kind of disciplined execution Philadelphia has shown and must continue to show against the Cowboys tonight. Against the Rams, the Eagles matched up against Isaac Bruce primarily with rookie corner Bobby Taylor, but they always gave him some kind of help. Here they roll their safeties to Bruce's side. At the snap, Mike Zordich will slide behind Taylor, with Greg Jackson moving into the deep middle. In effect, what the Eagles do is double-team Bruce, the opponent's best receiver. On the other side, they leave their best corner, Mark McMillan, singled up on Jesse Hester. That's the matchup the Eagles want. McMillan in man coverage against the number 2 wideout. But it's also the matchup that can be exploited. Tonight, I expect the Eagles to match up against Michael Irvin the same way, rolling their coverage to his side. That means the hat must be worn by Mark McMillan.
The Eagles' defense is giving up only 3.5 yards per rushing attempt. But tonight, they face the league's top rusher and probably the league's best cutback runner. And that means the Eagles' linebackers, Thomas, Govea, and Romanowski, they must be strong at the point of attack. They must maintain their leverage. But, Tom, most of all, they can't over-pursue Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, but, Johns, I don't envision much of a cutback from Emmitt Smith tonight. I think what we're going to see is all of what we saw against the Giants in Week 1 Monday night, and that is Emmitt Smith making a beeline down the football field. In the first play of the season, the handoff right there, you see Emmitt Smith not have to change directions as he gets to the end zone. When you look at the advantage in weight that the Cowboys offensive line has, they outweigh the Eagles defense 43 pounds per man. And I'm willing to bet Mike's job on it that there is no way they can stop Emmitt Smith.
Lucky for Mike, he's going to have a job. Points per game. They're good. Many try and a few succeed. How do you stop the Dallas offense? Let's make Jaws a defensive coordinator.
I'll give it a shot, Mike. What makes the Dallas offense so good and so tough to defend is their balance. They run the ball 52% of the time. They throw it 48% of the time. And their offense is very basic. They don't give you a lot of formation variation. They don't give you a lot of motion. They just try to beat you with execution rather than deception.
When you play the Cowboys, you have to get your safeties involved in run support. Here's why. Dallas is a predominant I formation offense, and they run the ball with Emmitt Smith both weak and strong. Here, the Atlanta Falcons match up with double zone. You see both safeties at least 12 yards from the line of scrimmage. This is how not to play the Cowboys offense. In double zone, your safeties can't support versus the run. And there isn't a defensive front seven that Dallas can't block consistently. Look where the 2 safeties are. They won't lay a glove on Emmitt until he's 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. To have your best percentage shot matching up against Smith and the Cowboys running game, you must bring a safety up to the line of scrimmage for run support. You see Arizona aligned this way on first down. One risk to this tactic: single coverage on the wideouts. And against Michael Irvin, that's always a matchup that favors the Cowboys. Dallas goes play action. You see 8 Cardinals within a yard of the line of scrimmage, committing to stop the run. With only 3 in the secondary, there's a lot of open space for Irvin and Kevin Williams to work. And Troy Aikman has such a great understanding of defensive schemes that he almost always throws to the right receiver. Here he comes off Williams and hits Irvin, who's beaten the man coverage on the crossing route. This is the risk you take when you get your safeties involved in the running game and play man behind it. Some teams, like the Minnesota Vikings, will bring 8 up in the box and play zone behind it, always keeping a safety in the middle of the field. What this becomes once the ball is snapped is your basic 3 deep, 4 under zone. What 3 deep does is take away the deep ball and force the offense to be patient and work underneath. But it still puts the burden on your corners to cover, because when the ball is thrown to the outside, which is the vulnerable area against 3 deep, you're really in man coverage with some help from the linebackers. And Aikman will be patient, and his timing with Irvin on the outside routes is literally unstoppable.
I've studied 7 of the 8 Cowboy games on the coach's video, and what jumps out at me is their talent level. And I think the best the Eagles can hope to do tonight is to slow them down. At the skill positions, they have the leading passer in the league in Troy Aikman, the leading receiver in Michael Irvin, and the leading rusher in Emmitt Smith. But I really think the most consistent part of their offense right now has been the most dominant offensive line in football, Tom.
Yeah, correct you are, Jaws, but I think that the Eagles can help themselves defensively if they will allow their linebackers to get some depth. I'm going to go back to your first playbook, and we take a look at the middle linebacker, Govea and Greg Jackson. We're going to see arrows on them. Look at the fundamentally sound play you get from them up front. Govea, up at the line of scrimmage, comes out, he reads properly at the line that the line is pass blocking. He doesn't just float to a zone. He makes sure that he looks up a receiver and gets back. That allows him to get 17 yards worth of depth. I think that it's important for the Eagles to get that depth from the linebacker.
The little man who played awfully large, Wilbert Montgomery. That's the subject of tonight's Distant Replay.
And I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
As sales rep for a Philadelphia region paper company, Wilbert Montgomery is no longer the reclusive soul of his football playing days.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. I faxed this information over to Sharon from Braceland for you, and everything seems to be in order.
Okay.
Any problems, just let me know.
All right, the prices and everything was good?
Yeah, everything seems to be in order.
Go for the discount?
Well, the thing is, I think when you're out there and being exposed and coming in, people talking to you and you interacting with them, it sort of opened you up a little bit more.
Wilbert is just so nice to everybody. He would just walk around and talk to people, which is kind of unique because here Wilbert would never say a word as a player. All of a sudden, that's all he did was talk to people while they're...
Crowds and media scrutiny were the last things Wilbert Montgomery wanted when he was drafted in the 6th round by the rebuilding Eagles in 1977.
Country boy coming up from the South and said, don't speak unless you got something important to say. You know, for 4 years, it took me a lot to say words, you know, just to even talk to the media because I was afraid that I might say the wrong thing. But it's just best to be quiet and just go out there and do your job.
You're a very sensitive kid. We're playing Minnesota Vikings, and I yelled at him. I mean, I really let him have it. And he came out of the game and sat on the bench behind me. So I had my 2 sons were on the sideline, and I said, go talk to Wilbert. My son comes back and says, Dad, Wilbert says he can't play when you yell at him. So I brought him up, and because that's how he was. This is his temperament. I brought him up. I said, I apologize, Wilbert, but God, you did this and this and this, and this is how it's got to go. He went back and changed the tempo of the ball game, and we went on and won it.
and he was a great cutback runner. Most of his big runs came from the peripheral vision that he had of the point of attack being blocked and him slashing and cutting back. He was a great slashing type runner, and that's the one thing that Wilbert possessed, was a quickness in his feet. The guy could just make people miss him. He would hit the hole very quickly. It was very obvious from the get-go that this guy was something special.
The pitch to Montgomery, cut back at the 15, across the 20, cut back 25, 30, he's gone! 40, 45 midfield, 45, 40, Montgomery's gonna go! Montgomery! Wilbert Montgomery with a 90-yard run!
When you have a guy like that, you're not on offense unless you give him the ball. You know, I always thought, my gosh, as soon as I give the ball to somebody else, I'm giving him to a second stringer because I don't have anybody else like him. He used to carry the ball 25 times and line up as wide receiver 10 other times.
He clearly was our best football player, and you want to get the ball in the hands of your best football player. I would give the ball to Wilbert 50 times a game if it was my choice, so in my opinion, he was underutilized. And I think, you know, just the wear and tear on his body took its toll, though.
And I remember when Wilbert would walk in after a football game, his hands were all pink. I mean, they were just all from the AstroTurf. His arms were all beat up. He had lumps all over his shoulders and his back from where people were hitting him. That as a 10-year veteran, I felt obligated to get up and give this man the training table room. And then to me, the leadership that Wilbert Montgomery showed was the ability to go out there on Sunday afternoon, take a pounding, and then be ready for practice on Wednesday. That was the kind of leadership that he provided. It was non-verbal. It was just through action.
On the eve of the biggest game in the Vermeil era, Wilbert Montgomery proved he could play his best even when he felt his worst.
I collapsed on the Wednesday practice. I didn't practice no more the entire week, even game day. While the team was out in pregame warm-up, I was still in the locker room. They was working on me, trying to get me ready to play. I come running out of the tunnel, walked up and told Coach I was ready to go. The next play, and that set the tone for that whole day.
Defensive backs, Jaworski gives off inside, running with Montgomery up the right side. Montgomery, 25, 40, 50, 10, touchdown! Montgomery! Montgomery explodes on the right side, and the Eagles have scored first. All right, new swing, 15 base. Leave Wilbert in there.
Wilbert, to stand next to him and go to war on Sunday, you had great confidence you had a chance to win because you knew what he was going to give you.
25-30, 45-40, 45 midfield. Montgomery to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, and drives down to the Cowboys 25-yard line. Wilbert Montgomery having his day of days.
People used to ask me, they'd say, Dick, you know, you're a really intense, highly motivated guy. Who motivates you? The first person I would think about is Wilbert Montgomery. The first person. Now, you identify with effort and talent and giving and asking for nothing in return. You know, there just aren't many guys like that anymore. He is the greatest Eagle, I think, that's ever played the game.
Distant Replay is brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Are you ready for some football?
The Dallas Cowboys are leaving their opponents blinded by the brilliance of their superstar performers. Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and Troy Aikman are an offensive force found on no other team in football. He has been the Cowboys quarterback for the past 7 years. Troy Aikman has taken them to 2 Super Bowl titles, and now this season he is the NFL's leading passer. The Cowboys have won 7 of their first 8 games, and Aikman is having his best year ever. Michael Irvin has, for the past 5 seasons, been one of the NFL's most prolific receivers. With 58 receptions this year, he reached the midway point of 1995 as the NFL's leading pass receiver. Strong, fast, fearless, and confident, he is the NFL's prototype wide receiver. The skyline of Dallas, Texas, and Texas Stadium west of Dallas by about 8 miles. A capacity crowd tonight, always here lately at Texas Stadium, 60,000 plus. Good NFC East matchup. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Happy you're with us. Good matchup tonight. Dallas coming in tonight 7-1. Philadelphia at 5-3. And Dallas, maybe the best football team ever put together here in Dallas by the Dallas Cowboys. They are on a big-time roll. They have great talent. They are a healthy football team. All the distractions off the field doesn't seem to bother them on the field at all. I mean, lawsuits, suspensions, none of it seems to affect them. Meanwhile, Philadelphia on a pretty good roll. They won their last 4 games under rookie head coach Ray Rhodes. And as they come into tonight's game, Al, they don't have the roll call of great names, but they are playing some pretty tough football, particularly defensively.
And they've done it with an entirely new cast of characters. In essence, Frank, 32 of the 53 Eagles on the roster were not here last year. Ray Rhodes in his first year, and his entire coaching staff brand new to Philadelphia. This is a team that began the season 1-3, but after the loss to Oakland when they blew a 17-0 lead, Rodney Peete became the starting quarterback, and he has guided them to 4 straight wins. They don't expect Rodney to win the game, just keep them in the game. So how do they have a chance against a clearly superior Dallas team? Number 1, they are number 2 in the National Football League defensively in yards per game allowed. So tonight they need a superior effort on that side of the ball, and a few turnovers created wouldn't hurt either. Secondly, their rushing game has been very good. They are second in the league in rushing. Ricky Waters and Charlie Gardner spearhead that attack, and tonight they'll work against a very depleted Dallas defensive line. And Dan, that's about the only part of the Cowboys that is depleted, because everybody I know expects this team to get to and win the Super Bowl.
Including their owner, Jerry Jones, Al, who said anything less than that is not only a disappointment, it's just downright unacceptable. This is a superior football team any way you look at it. In our opening, we documented the triplets, Aikman, Irvin, but really the guy who kills the Eagles is running back Emmitt Smith, who's averaged nearly 154 yards per game the last 5 times that they have played the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they have a very good athletic and rangy defense. We all know about Charles Haley and these people. But the best part of the Dallas Cowboys is their offensive line. If you appreciate the game of football, if you appreciate what it takes to be physical, to be tough, and to move people around, watch this Cowboys offensive line. They are sensational. Somehow this team is able to maintain focus, as Frank said, with everything going on around them. Tonight, I think we'll see another good example of just that.
Each team beginning the second half of its season. An overhead shot of Texas Stadium in Irving with a hole in the roof, capacity a little in excess of 60,000, and sold out, as has been the case now for a number of years, as Gary Anderson, the longtime Steeler, spent 13 years with the Steelers, now an Eagle. Kevin Williams and Brock Marion are back to receive the kick for the Dallas Cowboys. And here we go from Irving, Texas. Good, deep, angled kick that is down in the end zone. And the Cowboys will come out to the 20-yard line. Well, Smith and Irvin are having great years, and so you lose sight of the fact that Troy Aikman just keeps rolling along. But look at that touchdown-interception ratio. He has been picked off only twice in half a season. Smith and Johnston in the backfield. Irvin and Williams are the wideouts, and Novacek, another great year at tight end. Up front, they're huge. 2-A, Newton, Donaldson, Allen, and Eric Williams. Donaldson replacing the longtime center, Mark Stepnoski, who opted for free agency and plays now with Houston. And they begin on an end around with Kevin Williams. And he loses the football and is lucky that it bounced out of bounds as the Eagles read the play perfectly, stopped him for no gain, and almost came up with a fumble recovery. Fuller and Zordich in on the stop. Now defensively for the Eagles, Fuller, Andy Harmon just signed a new contract. He's had a brilliant season. Ronnie Dixon and Mike Mamula was the #1 pick out of Boston College. Romanowski is the ex-49er. Gouveia, the ex-Redskin, and William Thomas having a good year. McMillan is only 5'7". Taylor's a rookie. Zordich and Jackson are the safeties, and they will have their hands full tonight with Michael Irvin.
Credit William Fuller, guys, that last time around. He's the guy that strung out that reverse and killed him.
Here's Emmitt Smith looking for room and finds very little and takes it up to the 22-yard line. The Eagles think they have the football. No signal yet, and now one of the officials comes in and signals that the play was dead. The ground created the fumble. Tom White is the referee.
Oh, yeah,
there's a discussion.
Looks like
Philadelphia football.
Al, I didn't envy you having to make a call on that because nobody did anything. There was a whole lot of standing and staring by the officiating crew.
It appeared as if one official came in and pointed to the ground as if to indicate the ground caused the fumble. The next thing you know, Mark McMillan, the cornerback, recovers it.
And William Thomas, he forces a lot of turnovers. Pull it up. He had the hand in there. You know, very close. Ball was loose, but looked like the knee might have been down.
So the Cowboys fumble on their first 2 plays, and here is Ricky Waters over the right side taking it to the 19-yard line. So can the Eagles, getting a huge early break, capitalize at the beginning of the game as Waters picks up 3. Robert Jones in on the stop. Another look at the fumble.
At first, it looks like Emmitt Smith goes down. You would think he's down, but I think, look at him here. His knee does not touch the ground. And that ball microscopically looked like it came loose before his knee touched the ground. But boy, that's really, really close.
And it may have been Romanowski who got his hand in, and then it simply dropped as Rob Carpenter had it right at the numbers and couldn't hold on. It will be 3rd down and 6.
Rob Carpenter playing for an injured Fred Barnett, the outstanding receiver. As we go back to Emmitt Smith, he's handled the ball so many times, and that is all in traffic. He seldom gets outside of traffic. He is not a fumbler by any stretch of the imagination. It's hard to say Fred Barnett has a pulled muscle, will not be in action tonight. Rob Carpenter, a former Jet, in there for him. That weakens the passing game for Philadelphia. They don't want to throw it anyway. They want to run it.
3rd down and 6. They have Garner in the game in the slot to the right. Waters in the backfield. He stays in the block. Rodney Peete throws to the corner of the end zone and incomplete. Great coverage on the play. Reggie Johnson, the intended receiver, and Darren Smith, who had been a holdout and just joined the team at outside linebacker last week, seeing his first action of 1995 covering.
And he made a superb play on that, forcing the receiver to stay to the outside. It would have had to have been a perfect throw. Darren Smith with the good speed. All of these linebackers for Dallas, great speed. They're not big. None of them over 240, but they are fast.
Now a 36-yard field goal attempt for Gary Anderson. Tom Hutton, who is the punter, does the holding. And the kick is good. Almost kicked a screwball. Started out to the right of the screen, came back and splits the uprights. So Billy cashes in on an early Smith fumble, and the Eagles lead 3-0. Fumble notwithstanding, those are tremendous numbers for Emmitt Smith, on his way to perhaps a 2,000-yard season, on his way to perhaps a new National Football League record for most touchdowns in a year with 14. Troy Aikman ready to take over again as the Cowboys trail 3-0. And Kevin Williams and Brock Marion drop back to receive Anderson's kick. His first kickoff resulted in a touchback. This one a little shorter, taken at the 6 by Kevin Williams. Up past the 20 and taken down up at the 31-yard line by Sylvester Wright. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. When you become a Marine, the change is forever. Miller Lite, and you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite. Life is good. And Lincoln Mercury in the complete line of 1996 Mercury automobiles.
The hole in the roof. One day, we plan to take the stadium up higher, close it up. Grand plans here in Dallas.
Aikman on first down hands the ball to Emmitt Smith. And he fights his way up to the 34-yard line. Hit first by Bill Romanowski. It'll be 2nd and 7.
This Eagle defense, I said earlier, they don't have the roll call of great names, but they are a swarming defense. And William Thomas having a great year. 4 interceptions from that weak side linebacking position. He's always around when you're turning the football over. And here is Ray Rhodes, the rookie coach, former player with the Giants, defensive back, running back, 12 years with the 49ers. And their offense looks like the 49ers. So too their defense.
2nd and 7 from the 34. Fake draw. Then Aikman guns one to the sideline. Caught at the 47 by Michael Irvin. First down.
Well, you would think this would be the big mismatch of the night. Michael Irvin against Mark McMillan. Mark McMillan is 5'7", 148 pounds, but teams have learned not to judge him by size. He is so quick. He has great leaping ability. And they're not terribly, they're not going to focus on him tonight. They'd rather work over on the rookie, Bobby Taylor, the rookie from Notre Dame, number 21 on the opposite side, and he's going to get some balls thrown his way before the night's over.
12-yard gain. Emmitt Smith now, and great tackle by William Thomas, who's really coming into full flower now in his 5th year out of Texas A&M.
He just is one of those players. He's not big, about 225 pounds, but he is quick, rangy, a great sense for the football. He seems to be always around it. Take a look at him again. Emmitt trying to get to the outside. And Thomas is right there.
Second and 11. Aikman to the tight end, Novacek, and he takes it to the 39-yard line where he's tackled by Bill Romanowski.
Well, Huck, Michael Irvin, all the wide receivers, Kevin Williams, but this, Dan, is Troy Aikman's pacifier. When he needs some yardage, he goes to Novacek.
Boy, and look where it starts. Did you see the look he gets downfield? No one in a green shirt anywhere around Troy Aikman. He gets a chance to survey the middle of the field, and Jay Novacek in the middle of the field will always be open. And when I say always, 9 times out of 10, Troy Aikman, if given the alley down the middle, will find number 84.
35th catch of the year for the tight end. Now Emmitt Smith exploits a big hole, breaks a couple of tackles inside the 10. Touchdown Smith.
You know, it's like we're back at the Meadowlands. I'm going to say, opening day, Meadowlands. Only on the first drive, Emmitt Smith went about 60. This was a little shorter, but it looked very much like what we saw Emmitt Smith do to the Giants.
39 yards.
I talked about this offensive line at the top of the show. We saw the pass protection they gave Aikman on the last pass to Novacek, and this is just a superb piece of blocking. Look at Moose Johnston with the lead block. He eradicates Romanowski. And look at that, Emmitt Smith hasn't been touched yet. He forces a broken tackle by Zordich, and that's it. But Zordich, the first guy to get a lick on Emmitt Smith as a safety, that's not going to get it.
What a block by Johnston. Chris Boniol for the point after.
Well, so much for that fumble. I think that makes up for it.
For the 5th year in a row, Emmitt Smith in 4 figures. This takes him over 1,000 for the season. 7-3, Big D. Well,
life is good.
Hard to dispute. There is the MVP of the first half of the 1995 season. And Kelvin Martin returns the kick off the foot of Boniol to the 23-yard line. David Lang makes the tackle.
The key block is number 2. That's 73, Larry Allen, right in the middle. Look how he takes Andy Harmon, turns him all the way around, and by the time Harmon, number 91, able to react, it's all over. Even though Emmitt appears to have had a blowout there, looks like he's got a hole in his pants. That doesn't slow him down a great deal on his way to the end zone. Here's Larry Allen quickly blossoming into one of the better offensive linemen in this league.
He's getting it sewn up.
Yep, he is.
Little patchwork.
Watch that needle. Don't.
Yeah. First down to the 23-yard line as Pete gives the ball to Ricky Waters, and Waters picks up 3 up to the 26.
I know Emmitt's a tough guy, but nobody's that tough.
Yeah. Chad Hennings makes the tackle. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia lineup now with Rodney Peete making his 5th consecutive start. Played here last year, backing up Aikman. Before that, 5 years in Detroit. Waters, the ex-49er, the rookie McCreary is the fullback. Carpenter and Williams, the wideouts, with Barnett inactive. West is the tight end. Brooks, a rookie. McIntyre, the ex-49er. McKenzie, the ex-Redskin. Panos and Anton Davis, a former #1 draft choice. Brooks at left tackle out of Kansas State. They have Garner and Waters in the backfield together, and Ricky runs right into Dixon Edwards. And let's take a look at that Cowboy defense. They're base 4-3. Look on Ricky's face says it all. Tolbert, then you have McCormick and Hennings, the defensive tackles, each making their first start, and Haley on the outside. Edwards, Jones in the middle, and Darren Smith back after that holdout. And then Dion in the secondary with Larry Brown at the corners, Woodson and Marion are the safeties. Leon led on suspension for 4 games, and Russell Maryland inactive tonight. So the 2 defensive tackle starters both missing as Pete uncorks one deep and incomplete. Intended for Kelvin Martin, the ex-Cowboy. Scott Case covering. And it's 4th down.
Well, there's a look at some of the duties of an equipment manager, and
he's trying to tape it, isn't he?
What's he got? A little duct tape on there?
Yeah. Gaffer's tape, yeah.
It is the greatest invention in the world, isn't it? It fixes almost anything.
Yes. Tom Hutton, the rookie punter from Tennessee, almost had that one blocked, gets it away, and it's fair caught at the 33-yard line by Kevin Williams. 39-yard punt. Jim Schwantz nearly blocked it. But the Cowboys get it back. 9:04 left in the first quarter as Schwantz came that close. Dallas up by 4.
The United States Marine Corps will celebrate his 220th birthday, and here attending tonight's game is Brigadier General J.W. Klimp, Commanding General of U.S. Marine Corps Recruiting Command, and he wanted me to wish all of us Marines a happy birthday.
Dallas Cowboys at the 33-yard line. Aikman has it knocked down. It was deflected by Ronnie Dixon, the defensive tackle. 2nd down.
It's like Dixon had a chance to catch that thing. Let's take a look at this from right here. That baby is headed right at Dixon. If you know, it's got an awful lot on it being that close to the quarterback, but that could have backfired on the Cowboys.
Well, he's been a big part of the emergence of this Philadelphia defense. He was out of football a year ago, but he has really come on for Philadelphia.
When he was out of football, Frank, he was driving a cement truck.
2nd and 10, and there's a cement truck going right through the middle of the Philadelphia line for a 1st down as Smith takes it up to the 46. Bobby Taylor, the rookie corner from Notre Dame, stops him after a 13-yard gain for the great Emmitt Smith.
That is awesome what's going on in the middle of that line. And Dan, you've been there. I never have run behind in this sort of thing.
Well, look at
this. Is awesome.
It's Larry Allen down blocking. It's Eric Williams pushing him to the outside, and then Nate Newton coming around the back block by Ray Donaldson. And there's one of the guys that the Eagles missed, Red Hall. Really had a serious injury in training camp with blood clots in his lungs. Nearly a life-threatening deal, and who knows when he's going to return to the Eagle lineup. But this offensive line, it's not just a question of victimizing the Eagles up front. They've been doing it to a lot of people for a long time.
You know, the average weight is, what, 319 pounds, and across the front of that line, the Eagles are giving up almost 50 pounds per man. And this is a very active 319 average line.
They're not just a bunch of blobs.
Emmitt Smith, and he has exploited that line and what they've done to that tune against the Philadelphia Eagles. He has destroyed the Eagles through the years. And that is caught by Novacek at the 43, and that's enough for a 1st down. They needed 13 and got 14. 1st down, Zordich makes the tackle.
You know, you look at Jay Novacek, and he's caught almost, what, 400 or 500 passes, and you think of Chris Carter up in Minnesota, and both of them used to be Cardinals, played for Buddy. Somehow they got away, and they've done pretty good.
Well, Carter played for Buddy right here in Philadelphia with this outfit here, but Jay certainly was with the St. Louis Cardinals and then Arizona before he was let go in Plan B. And, you know, it's a great lesson for, regardless of the sport, if somebody doesn't think you're good enough, that doesn't mean you're not good enough.
Mason guns it to Irvin. That's a 1st down. The amazing thing as McMillan makes the tackle about the Cowboys is you know what they're going to do. You know Troy's going to throw. You know Michael's going to make the catch, and Novacek occasionally. You know Emmitt's going to run. How do you stop him, though?
Well, it's so diversified. It is the thing. I mean, they got Irving on one side. They got Kevin Williams, maybe the fastest of the Cowboys wide receivers. They can do anything, anywhere they want to do it. This is Irving just on a drive. You got to respect him going deep because he can do that. McMillan did. He reacts quickly, but so what?
Al, your question is well posed, but you know what? People knew the Green Bay Packers were going to run that sweep with Thurston and Kramer. They knew that the Steelers were going to run the trap to Franco Harris. Knowing it and stopping it are two different things.
Play fake, pass, and it's lost by Irvin and picked off by Bobby Taylor. And Taylor up past the 20, skirting the sidelines and out of bounds. And I guess that's how you stop him. You hope you get a fumble.
Second turnover now. for Philadelphia.
McMillan is the guy who stripped it. He was covering on the play, and Bobby Taylor comes up with a football. At least McMillan got the arm in as Michael looks at the replay, and we will too.
Did that ball ever even hit the ground? I don't think it even touched the ground, did it? If it did, it was awfully quick. Barry Switzer wants to know as well. Well, I think this look ought to tell us.
Remember we talked about McMillan, how he could react so quickly to the ball. For a moment, Irvin was open.
That ball
reacted to it so quickly.
That's actually going to be an interception because Michael Irvin never had possession of that football. Won't they score that as an interception?
They do. First of his career for Taylor from the 35-yard line now. This is Garner, and apparently the play was whistled dead before its inception, and nobody in the joint knew it except
Charlie
the players.
And he held up the peace flag before he was buried out there.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 78, 5 yards, first down.
Anton Davis, the right tackle. Another look now at the pick.
Again, Irvin was there. He was open, and McMillan just reacted. The ball does not even come close to hitting the ground. That's an interception all the way.
You really got to give McMillan credit. He pulled the left arm of Michael Irvin down, prohibiting his catching it.
Now on 1st and 15, the catch is made by the tight end Ed West. That's a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 9. Tackled by Edwards.
I think we really got to give a lot of credit to Mark McMillan here. Let's watch his play on Michael Irvin and watch how he's going to pull Irvin's left arm down. See, Michael wants to pull that ball in, but he can't. He's got a hold of his left arm, takes it away from him. That's a catch all the way, except for the really nice job by Mark McMillan of handicapping Michael Irvin and his ability to catch it.
2nd down and 9, and Garner starts to stumble as he takes the hand off and gets up to the 38. Here comes Ricky Waters, the voluble one. Ricky very emotional, very high-strung, somewhat petulant. The team has won 4 in a row, and Ricky last week, after the 4th consecutive win, started screaming at John Gruden, the offensive coordinator, after the game about not getting the ball enough. 3rd and 7. Deep. Incomplete. Good coverage. Nothing but white shirts. The closest receiver was Kelvin Martin. And Randall sits and waits. Cunningham backing up. Pete, as Ray Rhodes made the move after the Oakland game.
Well, Ray Rhodes knows that against the Dallas Cowboys on the road that they cannot afford to fall behind by very much early in this ball game. And they just don't have a lot of offensive possessions to waste.
Booming punt by Tom Hutton, and then Dion takes the handoff to Williams. Deion Sanders off to the races. And into Eagle territory. Gordon stops him at the 43, and Joe Avisano, the special teams coach, loves that. How can you not when Dion is a member of your special team?
Flair for the dramatic.
You ever seen $13 million running with a football? That's what it looks like. And you had to be here to feel and hear the electricity when Deion Sanders touches the football.
Hamstring troubles from a week ago against Atlanta. That's Deion Sanders. When he comes out, they wrap it and probably put some ice, I would imagine, in there.
He took it back to the 42-yard line, and Aikman with that deep drop. They set up the screen to Moose Johnston. The flag goes down. Johnston breaking tackles, and Romanowski finally bounces him down at the 35-yard line.
What would they be doing, Dan? Icing it? Or I've never seen them do that to a player. Icing it or heating it?
It looks like ice, the way they, you know, the way it's bulky underneath. You think a hot compress, but you would think in this situation heat would be more along the lines of what a guy would need rather than ice.
Sure does attract the camera.
Yeah.
Tom White signaling it's offside against the Eagles.
Offsides, number 93. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. Second down.
2nd and 2. And let's get a word from Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Well, Al, Dan, and Frank, the wrap that Dion puts on every time he comes to the sideline is a heat wrap. He has been doing it since the beginning of the ball game because that left hamstring is tender. And then when the defense comes back out in the field, he just takes it right off. But, Dan, it is a heat wrap. It is definitely not ice.
Yep. That makes a lot more sense. Ice is what you use after you're injured. Keep the swelling down. Heat definitely keeps it loose.
But it's Dion. You never know.
Well, I got to tell you something. I don't have a lot of experience. I never had a pulled muscle in my life. I never had one that tight. These guys are wound a little tighter than I was.
Deion Sanders taking a breather, though he could play, obviously, offensively tonight, as he did last week.
What Barry told us, he'd like to get him about 12 snaps or so offensively tonight.
Emmitt Smith just picked up a first down on a 2nd and short to the 30-yard line, and Emmitt carries it again. A little hurdle job there. Flag comes in. For the moment, a 4-yard pickup. Tackle made by Bobby Taylor. Let's see about the call. Tom White, the referee.
Bobby Taylor in the offensive holding area where you usually see the laundry.
Ray Rhodes' first year, Barry Switzer in his second. Rhodes, a longtime assistant in San Francisco. Ray with 5 Super Bowl rings.
Holding the center, 10 yards, first down.
That's Ray Donaldson.
Oh, now you see now, Al. Here he got away with not being named by the referee, and you have to. The guy got the break of a lifetime, and you have to go ahead and name him.
We cover the globe. We want to recognize Ray in his 16th year in the league. The poor guy's only been in 1 postseason game.
Well, Kenny Wolf, our producer, is telling us that Ray Donaldson did nothing at all. That he's a victim here.
1st and 20. And Kevin Williams can't make the catch there. We're just part of the witness protection program in that case.
Well, I hate to see a guy wrongly accused here. Tom White, the referee, said the center did it. Let's find out. The center is right in front of number 8, number 53, Ray Donaldson. Oh, nothing wrong with that.
Well, Larry Allen might have made a little tackle there.
Oh, Ray, blameless in this. Blameless. I'm suspecting that it might have been Larry Allen, the right guard, who actually drew the foul.
Who was pulling and looked like a center on the play. Darrell Johnston is split to the left. The Moose is flanked out wide. Aikman looks the other way, and he hits Williams, and he's tackled at the 31-yard line by Bobby Taylor.
Williams gets about half of it back, so it'll be 3rd down and about ball almost to the original line of scrimmage.
3rd and 11 with 2:50 to go in the opening quarter. The Dallas Cowboys on top 7-3.
And very fortunate for the Eagles at this point that it is just 7-3. That interception cleared down at the 1-yard line when it hopped from Michael Irvin right into the arms of Bobby Taylor.
3 wide receivers and it almost forced a single coverage on Michael Irvin.
This is a stand the Eagles very much need to make right here.
Dallas's first 3rd down play of the night, and it comes up short as Emmitt Smith makes the catch at the 25-yard line. It'll be 4th and 5 and set up about a 43-yard field goal attempt for Chris Boniol.
Good coverage by Philadelphia. They took Irvin out of it on the outside. Mark Millen all over him. Torrey had to go underneath to Emmitt Smith, hoping for the run and the first down. And he'll settle for a 3-point attempt.
42-yard attempt. Gene Novacek kneeling, and he'll set it down at the 32-yard line. Boniol tries to extend Dallas's advantage to 7. And Chris Boniol bangs it through. With 1:42 left in the opening quarter, the Dallas Cowboys leading the Philadelphia Eagles 10-3. The stadium in Irving, longtime home of the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys on top by a score of 10-3. Kansas City has the best record in the league at the moment, 8-1. Dallas would match that with a win here against the Eagles. Chris Boniol sends it skyward, and it's taken in at the 3-yard line by Charlie Garner. Up past the 20-yard line, and he gets wrestled down by Brock Barry, and then 2 flags are down back at the 17. Scott Case gets into a little pushy-shovey match with The fullback Fred McQuarrie.
Credit to stop the block area, number 31.
Rodney Peete coming out to take over here, and he'll take over a little bit back toward his goal line because the call is against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, Rodney and the Eagles offensively have gotten nothing done so far, and this doesn't help.
Illegal block during the return, 10 yards, first down.
That was a good effort by Charlie Garner to make something happen and give his Eagle offensive team some decent field position, but here they go all the way back now down around their 8 or 9 yard line.
Tom White is in the witness protection program. He's not announcing the penalty on any individual. Look at the domination in total yards. Philadelphia's field goal, a result of an Emmitt Smith fumble on their first series, on Dallas's first series, and the subsequent three-pointer. Peete throws, and the catch is made by Calvin Williams, and that's a first down up to the 28-yard line. Rodney Peete, first year with Philadelphia. Over the summer, he got married. And those of you who watch ABC on Friday night at 9:30 Eastern Time know all about this show.
Thing and put it in his office. We are tiptoeing around our own kitchen over a stupid little mug.
Holly Robinson, the one of the stars of Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Mrs. Rodney Peete.
How come all the guys from USC marry women in showbiz?
Just good taste. Rodney did go to USC, of course, and he played, he beat Troy Aikman with the Trojans when Troy was with the UCLA Bruins twice. Of course, he was a quarterback here for the Dallas Cowboys a year ago, and prior to that, Detroit had some Achilles problems up there, and there's Troy Aikman, the UCLA alumnus.
In the '89 draft, Aikman was the first guy chosen. Peete was the 141st guy chosen in the 6th round by Detroit. 2nd and 7. Deep drop, fake screen, and then he dumps it at the feet of Waters, incomplete.
Oh, and that screen read all the way by Dallas.
Of course, Rodney Peete, he got to go to Detroit and be a participant in one of the great quarterback derbies of all time. Rodney Peete, Andre Ware, and Eric Kramer, they
was pick a number.
It was round-robin rotation with Wayne Fonts calling a different number almost every week. But Rodney, more than anybody else, was the guy who...
until he was hurt in '93.
He was the main man. He was Wayne's choice.
3rd down and 7 at the 30-yard line. 15 seconds left in the opening quarter. Williams in motion. 5-man rush. They blitz from the corner, and the pass is incomplete to the other side, intended for Rob Carpenter.
Well, one of the good matchups here tonight, fellas, is left tackle for the Eagles, Barrett Brooks, who's a rookie, and that guy right there, Charles Haley. And a rookie is really susceptible to the inside. They're really overcommitting a lot of times to the outside. They open up too much to the inside, and a veteran will take advantage of it. And right there is where Haley goes to the inside of Brooks. And that is a punishing hit on Rodney Peete.
Hutton up near the top of the league in gross punting, but near the bottom in net. Philadelphia has been atrocious in punt return coverage, as this one is brought back to the 25-yard line by Kevin Williams.
You know how he just out-kicks the coverage.
58-yarder right there.
Needs a little more height.
That's the end of the first quarter. 10-3 Dallas, and Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. You're looking at the two defensive tackles there, and Russell Maryland in street clothes, and Leon Lett was suspended for violating the league substance abuse policy. So Maryland and Lett both out. The Cowboys, you would think, would be a little soft in the middle defensively, but Philadelphia hardly able to exploit it to this point in the game as we start the second quarter. From the 25-yard line, Moose Johnston goes nowhere on first down. It'll be 2nd and 10 as Romanowski makes the tackle.
Where that might affect them, losing Maryland, he has the bad knee, and Leon Lett later in the game, because they are used to a rotation of the interior linemen, the Dallas Cowboys, and they'll have to reach back to Michael Batiste and Darren Benson, and there are two youngsters have first time they've even suited up for a football game.
Lett is gone for 4 games, and the other suspended Cowboy is the reserve defensive back Clayton Holmes, who's also out for 4 games. And those are 4 pretty big games for Dallas. Their schedule is very tough over the next 3 weeks. On 2nd and 10, Aikman has it knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Al, the real break, though, is that they get 3 of those 4 games here at Texas Stadium. The toughest game is on the road when they have to go to Oakland. But they get Philadelphia here, they get San Francisco here, and then they get Kansas City here on Thanksgiving.
Statistically, it's one-sided through the first 15 minutes of play, except for the turnovers where Dallas coughed it up twice.
And that is the reason that they only have a 7-point lead. In terms of play, that could have easily been a 21-0 quarter.
3rd down and 10. Aikman with that deep drop screen. Emmitt Smith, room to roam, and a first down up to the 37-yard line. William Thomas makes the tackle.
What a good call. Ernie Zampese making the call for Troy Aikman's screen on 3rd and 10. Secondary thinking Michael Irvin, cover Jay Novacek, Kevin Williams. Dump a little screen off, and there he is, Ernie Zampese. Hasn't been reading up his medical reports.
Ooh, Eric Williams assisted off the field.
Eric Williams, I think everybody knows his story about injured in the auto accident last year. He missed some action earlier this year, came back earlier than anybody thought. Ron Stone taking his place, but then he was bothered with a calf muscle pull. Missed the game about 3-4 weeks ago. We'll get a report on him as soon as we can.
1st and 10. The Eagle defensive line was shifting as the ball was snapped, and Kurt Gouveia makes the tackle. Emmitt Smith now in yards from scrimmage, that's rushing plus receiving combined, over 10,000 yards with that prior reception. 35th player in the history of the league, and only 3 players in history reached that milestone level in fewer games than Emmitt.
Boy, he hit the lottery too. A great, outstanding high school running back, and then a brilliant running back of Florida. And to come in to this team as they were emerging with this huge offensive line that really extends your career to play behind this kind of a line.
Aikman pump fake, going deep, and just underthrown. Flag is thrown as the coverage was by Greg Jackson on Michael Irvin.
Yeah, but he saved a touchdown. Greg Jackson, that would have been an easy end of the end zone.
Well, Jackson's a safety coming over. I mean, he's coming over trying to save the day. We got a blown coverage from the very beginning, or else Jackson is either Jackson or the corner to that side made a mistake. One of the 2 of them left Michael Irvin alone for far too long.
Michael Irvin would not have dropped this, but Jackson grabs his arm, pulls it away.
That's interference all the way.
No question about that.
Number 47 defense, 1st down.
It's just a calculated thing on the part of Greg Jackson. He's going to get 6 if I don't grab that arm and draw the flag.
If Troy Aikman is able to lay that ball out closer to the sideline, Michael Irvin has to come back to the middle of the field to make that play. If Aikman is able to keep that ball closer to the sideline, that's a touchdown reception easily.
Yep, pass a little bit underthrown as Darrell Johnson is split to the right again. Aikman looking to the left, floats one into the end zone. Michael Irvin is just spectacular. Flag down. For the moment, it's a touchdown.
What a brilliant catch, though. Blown coverage again over the opposite side this time.
Line judge making the call.
Offside. Number 96. Defense.
Touchdown.
Line up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
What a brilliant catch. Again, Aikman a little off. He did not have to throw it that tight to the sideline, but Irvin saved it. Just lofted it up there. No one covering him.
Well,
watch the feet come down. Beautiful.
Well, what are the Eagles doing here, Frank?
Well, they made a mistake on 2 consecutive plays.
Yeah, well, that's not a very smart way to play the Dallas Cowboys.
Bonio for the point after. Michael Irvin in his 8th year, and he just keeps getting better.
Tough to beat the Dallas Cowboys if you play error-free football.
That's ballet there.
Let these guys run loose. It'll be a long plane flight back to Philadelphia if the Eagles don't fly straight.
Enough without making mistakes. And that time Troy Aikman right on top of 2 consecutive blown coverages on the part of the Eagles.
There's Greg Jackson, the safety. By our account and our look at it, looked like he had the deep outside on Michael Irvin on the first pass, but ended up in the interference call. the second time they leave Irvin wide open again.
Collier kicks it down to Kelvin Martin. And Martin has spent 6 years here and then 2 in Seattle, gets run out of bounds up at the 32. Michael Irvin with that reception at the end of a 75-yard drive that took just 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
You know, Calvin Martin got paid a real compliment last night by Michael Irvin. I was asking Michael, where did you really learn to get off of the ball the way you can? Michael Irvin, one of the great releasers in the NFL as far as fighting, you know, a hand check in that bump and run coverage. And he really credited Calvin Martin. Calvin Martin was already here in Dallas when Michael came as a rookie. He said, I learned an awful lot from that little guy about how to get off the ball.
Now Rodney Peete to Charlie Garner. He picks up 3, and he's wrestled down by Darren Smith. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the all-new Plymouth Voyager, the next generation of the minivan. Casino from Universal Pictures, starring Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, and Joe Pesci, directed by Martin Scorsese. And Miller Lite, when you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Could we get a cameo in
Casino?
Casino.
Ernie Zampese probably already has one.
All we do is wind up with Coach.
I know where the set we could work on.
You bet. Second down and 7 from the 35-yard line, and Garner takes it up to the 42, close to a first down, and Deion Sanders makes the tackle.
And a solo tackle, too, we might add.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie Garner is the second smallest man in this league.
Hey.
Deion, if you're going to tackle someone, Deion, get him lined up in your sights.
This was no assist. This was no jumping on the pile.
He is tough to tackle one-on-one, too. He has got more moves than a snake.
Mano-y-mano here. He didn't wrap up, but he puts him down. Deion may want to have that baby added to the old highlight reel.
Deion saves the first down.
Yeah. Yep. You know what I mean? He may go in and ask for a raise now. You know, I can tackle too.
$35.2 million. What an amazing franchise this is. I mean, think about the star power here. Sanders, Aikman, Smith, Irvin, Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson used to coach the team, and Jerry Jones.
It's quite a smorgasbord.
It is.
You were fishing for something to say.
When in doubt, fall back on food.
It's a major poo-poo platter. Here is Pete sneaking first down.
Sometimes it flames, too.
Yes, it does. Ray Rhodes, in his first year, it's kind of funny the way it worked with Philadelphia. Remember, Jeffrey Lurie bought the team last year, and Rich Kotite was the coach. They got off to a great start. Clearly, if Jimmy Johnson had wanted the job, he could have had it. They talked to Dick Vermeil. He could have had it at one point. Mike Shanahan, all he had to do was say yes. Rhodes was down the list early on, but emerged as the guy at the end. From the 43-yard line, Waters. And he gets run out of bounds by Woodson as he crosses the 50-yard line. And there is the owner of the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, who at one point attempted to buy the New England Patriots, couldn't pull that off, and wanted to own an NFL franchise and took over for Norman Brayman in Philadelphia.
Well, I think he hit big-time pay dirt with Ray Rhodes. He is a fine football coach. He's done an awful lot with, quite frankly, talent, a lot of it unknown. Some of them have not, several of them didn't even play last year, and he's got them on a 4-game winning streak, got them believing in themselves. They've got a good offense and a good defense. Looks like San Francisco, and someday it may be that.
Former 49er Ricky Waters picks up 3.
You're talking about Rhodes. How about the way he's been able to get this team to gel with the number of new players that he has added virtually overnight? He comes into this thing at 5-3 tonight, but this is a brand new football team. They've only got 3 players on this team that played for Buddy Ryan. One of them's not playing. That's Randall Cunningham. But look at this. 32 players on this team didn't play on last year's team. If you take away the 2 expansion teams, no one in the NFL comes close to that.
2nd and 7. Pete going deep and throws it out of bounds. They had only 5 starters from the 93 team still in the starting lineup tonight. And the other thing, Dan, is not only did they make all of the wholesale roster adjustments as you look at Randall Cunningham, but it's a brand new coaching staff, and most of his assistants have come from the college ranks.
Yeah, the one key guy that he got that really has helped him is defensive coordinator Emmitt Thomas.
Well, Emmitt Thomas, a long time with Washington, and before that Arizona. He knows this division, and he was important for Ray Rhodes. He really did not know this division. And there is his offensive coordinator, John Gruden. He's 32 years old.
Right. On 3rd and 7, the catch is made at the 35-yard line, and Chris T. Jones, the rookie from Miami, has enough for a first down.
Another tackle by Sanders. Well, they'll credit him with that.
Yep. Now, that's not to be confused with Christy Brinkley. It's not Christy. It's Chris T.
Or Spike Jones, right? That's right.
Rookie out of Miami. You can get up and run in this game, Chris.
Deion was hoping he wouldn't.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Here's Waters. Inside hands off, picks up 5 to the 29. Well, huge news, of course, in the NFL with this versioning, and was made official today. The for-the-moment Cleveland Browns next week go to Pittsburgh. That's our matchup on Monday Night Football, and Art Modell in a press conference in Baltimore today. Early this afternoon, announcing the Browns have made a deal with Baltimore to go there next year to play at Memorial Stadium, and then they'll build a brand new football stadium, 70,000 seats, right next to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And the Cleveland Browns, at least for the moment, on their way to Baltimore, pending any litigation.
I'm still digesting that one.
2nd and 4 is Ricky Waters. Fights his way to the 20-yard line, and that's an Eagle first down behind a Guy McIntyre block.
Well, the NFL owners are meeting here in Dallas starting tomorrow. At some point in time, they're going to have to meet and address the Cleveland situation. 2/3 of the ownership must agree to allow the Browns to move. I guess today the city of Cleveland filed a lawsuit trying to block that move. So
it's a busy day in the courts.
Yes, they signed an agreement to move to Baltimore, but it's they're not there yet. You know, it's going to be surreal enough being in Pittsburgh. Imagine if that game next week was going to be played in Cleveland.
On 1st and 10 from the 20, that pass is incomplete. Calvin Williams looks around for a flag and doesn't find it. Darren Woodson covering on the play.
Darren Woodson not popping up. He finally got up, but for a moment he was acting like he was hurt. There certainly was contact in the end zone, and Williams ends up on the ground. 31 is Brock Marion. Boy, and he comes in and jostles Williams pretty good. Ooh, that's dangerously close to interference.
Had that ball been a little closer to the receiver, you might have seen a flag.
It might have come into their consideration, Frank. You're right. That ball was at the back of the end zone. And here comes Deion off to the side.
I think I gotta wonder about his left hamstring.
Alundis Bryce will replace him, a rookie from Mississippi. 2nd down and 10 at the 20-yard line. There's Bryce. 11th play of this drive as the Eagles trail by 2 touchdowns and try to get back into it. Garner, spin, nowhere to go. Minimal gain, 3rd and long, but killing.
Well,
Smith and Hennings make the tackle.
I know it's fine to run the football. Here comes Deion back out. But I think the Eagles missed an opportunity to throw the football. The top 3 Cowboy cornerbacks at various times this season were Kevin Smith, Deion Sanders, and then Clayton Holmes. And at that particular moment, all 3 of those guys were not in the ball game. I might have been really tempted to throw the football. Now Deion's back in.
Smith ripping an Achilles on opening day and gone for the season. 3rd and 10. Garner stays in the block. Pete has time, and the pass is errant. Intended for Rob Carpenter. It'll be 4th down, and it will set up a 38-yard field goal attempt.
Oh, Rodney shook his head. He had Carpenter open. Carpenter had opened up a little gap between he and Sanders. And
we talked about Kevin Smith, the cornerback, the great corner, who
he's still on crutches, I believe.
Yeah, well, we saw him opening night in that opening night Monday night game in New York.
That's the pass we're referring to. Carpenter was there, and Pete missed him.
Smith had signed a huge contract extension 2 days before, and then they lost him for the season, making it all that more imperative to sign Deion.
Right. Of course, Larry Brown still holds 4th on the other side. Got 3 picks on the year, having a good year, but boy, wide open on the other.
37-yard field goal by Gary Anderson to make it 17-6.
And they continue to look at that left hamstring.
I think that's one of the reasons that we haven't seen him offensively as much as we normally would tonight. In fact, Ernie Zampese was saying before the game that, yeah, we've got a lot of plays in for him on offense, but with his condition tonight, he said, can you imagine if he did something going out for a pass that would cost him 5 or 6 games at cornerback?
Nor are we seeing him on a kickoff return, obviously.
It's not exactly a sputtering offense without it.
Yep. We did see him on a run back earlier. This time it's Kevin Williams. Up past the 20, and a nice tackle made up at the 22-yard line by Jerome Henderson. 17-6. Dallas up by 11. Guys, the way things have worked out this year, Dallas, San Francisco, everybody talking about that being the game of the year. That's next week. It's not quite the game that people expected.
It's quite a run for Dallas, too. They got 49ers, then they got the Raiders, and they got Kansas City. And if they sweep those, well, they'll just sit back and rest. They'll pretty well lock up the home field, and they'll be in awfully good shape. They're in good shape now.
That Kansas City game on Thanksgiving Day is starting to look pretty big. Huge.
Kansas City 8-1, and Dallas could be 8-1 with a win. They're up by 11. 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. And Emmitt Smith through the middle up to the 30 for a gain of 7.
Of course, the NFL is well aware how tough it is to come here to Dallas and win on Thanksgiving Day. Detroit and Dallas, the 2 teams that host on Thanksgiving, and this is a tough place to get a win on Turkey Day.
2nd down 3. Ball at the 30-yard line. 6:20 to go in the opening half.
Boy, it sure helps to pick up 7 yards on 1st down, doesn't it?
Especially when you lose 2 on 2nd. 3rd and 5. William Thomas makes the tackle.
Just keeping track of the folks. Eric Williams back in the ball game, big number 79. So he struggled ever since he returned to the lineup on opening night against the Giants. Been in and out with a multitude of problems.
The Big E, as they call him, a magnificent football player, wasn't supposed to be back at the earliest until the middle part of this season, and surprised everybody by being back by opening day.
What did Dan Reeves say about the right side of the Cowboys line? There's darkness over there.
Yes. These 2 guys are human eclipses.
3rd and 5. Aikman throws. Catch made. Michael Irvin knows exactly how much he needed. Picks it up at the 35-yard line. Mark McMillan with the coverage. Dan talked about the fact the owners meeting takes place here in Dallas tomorrow and Wednesday. They'll talk about the Cleveland situation, of course. And Jerry Jones, always knowing a moment when he's in the spotlight, and Monday Night Football is clearly a spotlight, has filed a suit today. He announced earlier tonight a $750 million antitrust suit against the NFL, NFL Trust, and NFL Properties, a countersuit to the original suit filed by the NFL against him. Smith picks up 2. The NFL, you'll recall, filed a $300 million suit, and there is Jerry up in his box as the owner and general manager of the team. He was sued by the league for $300 million. He has filed suit against the league and the individual owners. The papers will be served to the owners tomorrow. What I think is very fascinating, though, is he sues every team except the Oakland Raiders and Al Davis individually. They are excluded from the suit. 2nd down and 8 from the 37-yard line. Smith picks up 3, but it's amazing how this team, despite every distraction imaginable, just keeps rolling on the field.
Aren't you a little disappointed he didn't round it off to $1 billion?
I don't think
Jerry Jones. This is big stuff, you know.
The thing I hate to see is that the NFL is a partnership. This is a partnership, and you hate to see partners have to settle their differences through the courts. It would really be preferable to see Jerry Jones, Al Davis, and the other 28 owners go behind closed doors and settle their business that way. I think everybody would prefer that.
And that could well happen. 3rd and 5, and Emmitt Smith picks up 12 through the middle of the 48-yard line. By the way, Paul Tagliabue will be interviewed live at halftime, and Brent Musburger, I'm sure, will bring that subject up, and we'll get an update on that. But I guess with the suits and the counter suits and all of the rest, Mama, do let your babies grow up to be lawyers.
Yeah, that's, well, I think it's more than $10 to file a $750 million lawsuit.
First and 10.
It's not the end of the world to let them grow up to be Cowboys either. This is a pretty well-paid group of buckaroos there right now.
Emmitt's picked up 82 yards already. Play fake. Aikman throws, and do we get a flag?
Aikman got a shot, and the flag is in the area where they usually call holding, and they do.
It's against Dallas as McMillan covered on the play. Bill Romanowski.
Let's see if we get an identification here.
Nate Newton is getting up a little gimpily.
Holding, number 79, 10 yards, first down.
The Big E.
That's E.
Most of his work tonight going against William Fuller, the former Pro Bowler from the Houston Oilers, who is back, came back last week after missing a couple of weeks with a pulled hamstring.
Missed the better part of 4 games, Frank, and came back and just terrorized
he was something, was
St. Louis Rams last week. Whoa. They had all they wanted to see, and this is not a good sign for the Cowboys. Big Nate heads to the lumber.
He's out. Derek Kennard is in at left guard. First and 20. Fake draw. And Michael Irvin makes the catch. It's almost unfair. McMillan stops him after a gain of 13.
Well, it's just such a good read by this man, number 8. I mean, he picked up the single coverage by Mark McMillan. They're trying to help on the other side, and he just has such a good mind. And more than anything, we talked about it all night, he has so much time to look at a second read. He doesn't have to read the defense with the snap of the ball. He has time. That offensive line gives him all the help. Irvin, who's already scared the Eagles deep, takes it back to the sidelines. Easy stuff.
8 to 88. Eagles say that's enough of those crazy 8s. Second down and 7 at the 45-yard line. Smith picks up 2 and then gets wrestled back by William Thomas, setting up a 3rd down and 5 at the 43.
William Thomas came into the game tonight with 4 interceptions. He took one of them back for a touchdown, and this guy has played a really fine first half of football. He has made 3 or 4 solo tackles in the backfield and a number of them downfield. A guy who's always had great speed and good range, and his coaches have raved about him ever since he came into the game. And guys, it's tough for him to play a whole lot better. He's played here.
When Fuller was out, he played left defensive end.
3rd and 5, final play before the 2-minute warning. Aikman has it batted in the air and is lucky there wasn't another Eagle in the area. Daniel Stubbs batted it in the air, and it drops incomplete. 4th down.
Kevin Johnson, the other defensive tackle, tried to lumber underneath it. Kevin goes about 300 plus. He just couldn't get there.
4th down. Dallas to punt when we come back. 2-minute warning. Big D up by 11. With Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan. 1:59 to go in the half, and the Cowboys leading the Eagles 17-6. Kelvin Martin back to receive the kick as John Jett gets set to boot for the Cowboys, their first punt of the evening. Line of scrimmage is the Philly 43. Little floater. Fair catch is called for and made at the 12-yard line by Kelvin Martin. So the Eagles will take over there with 1:51 to go in the half. Just getting loose on the sideline, just to get loose.
Yeah, it's in the 50s there tonight. I don't blame it. Yep.
Now that Ray Rhodes is thinking about a change here is Rodney Peete from the 11-yard line. Guns one over the middle to Calvin Williams, and he's up to the 25. That's a gain of 14. Darren Smith makes the tackle. 1st and 10.
Even a field goal, the symbolism, much less making it a 17-9 game, would really help energize this Eagles team on its way into the locker room, especially starting from poor field position like this.
Philly with all of its timeouts. Peete avoids the initial sack.
That's got to be a face mask there. Way Rodney's head snapped back.
Look at that. Took his helmet off.
Ooh. Irvin McCormick making his first NFL appearance. is the guy.
Feel good about this, Al, jumping the gun like this? You know, you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you name a guy beforehand.
Tom White hasn't been naming them.
Well, Tom White, the way he's been going tonight, he might just go, that guy over there did it. Penalty on that guy.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask, number 99. The foul was behind the line of scrimmage, and the run ended behind the line of scrimmage. The penalty enforced from the end of the run behind the line, 15 yards, first down.
Got the big one, 15.
Well, the way that spins his hat around,
that could hurt somebody. Oh, really big time.
That is a 15-yarder.
Up to the 38 with 1:18 and the clock ticking down. Pete takes off, and Darren Smith runs him down after a gain of 1, and the Eagles will spend their first timeout.
Frank, you talked earlier about the athleticism of these Dallas linebackers. A good example.
And speed. Darren Smith playing in on his second game this year, runs Pete down.
10 left in the half, and the Eagles with 2 timeouts. Second down and 9 for Philly at its own 39-yard line. Dallas up 17-6. Talked about how tough Dallas's schedule is upcoming with San Francisco here, then at Oakland and Kansas City. The Eagles go back. Big game for them next Sunday night against Denver. Then the Giants at home and at Washington.
Congrats to John Elway, who went over 40,000 yards along with Warren Moon.
Second and 9. Pete has to take off again and slides to a stop up at the 48-yard line. And he's close to a first down.
Yeah, they put you where you went into the slide, not where you end up. Where you first touched the turf, and that wasn't enough to get the Eagle first down.
3rd and 1, and he seeks that one and gets it with that second thrust up to the 49, and now they take a timeout. So with 45 ticks left, they're at their own 49-yard line and 1 timeout left.
First down.
The themes in Florida. Florida won, Florida State lost, but the Buckeyes moved to number 2. What's that do to the New Year's Day extravaganza?
Stay tuned. Whoa, stay tuned, all right. Darren Smith with a sack and a half.
Yeah, they've missed Darren Smith. He has great quickness, athleticism. Cowboys don't...
Chris T. Jones, but there's a flag down all the way back at the Eagle 38.
That'd been roughing Rodney.
No, ineligible man downfield.
Rodney looked like he was going to run. One of his linemen picked it up, started moving downfield.
So it was a fine job by Rodney of having an awareness of where the line of scrimmage was and not crossing it. But you can see right there that it looked like one of his linemen, might have been Raleigh McKenzie, was downfield.
Ineligible lineman, number 63, offense, downfield, still second down.
That's a really tough deal to criticize a lineman for. He's trying to hustle out there and protect his quarterback. He doesn't know if he's going to scramble and run. He doesn't know if he's going to throw. It looked like McKenzie was no more than a yard downfield.
And he can't watch him. He takes a look at him. It looks like he's going to run, and then he has to look upfield.
That just falls into the category of just really a bad break. I'm not sure he can even see the first down marker.
Second and forever. As Pete throws, the catch is made up at the 45-yard line by Kelvin Martin. It's a nice game, but he's still 10 yards shy of the first down, and more importantly, the clock ticks down. Pete tries to take a timeout, and they don't see him, and now they finally give him a timeout with 1 second left on the clock, and Rodney's going to probably contend there should be 3 or 4. So that's a moot point at this point with 1 play left.
Timeout, Philadelphia. That's their 3rd charge. Timeout. 42nd timeout.
Well, they might have 3 or 4 seconds on him, but now you're going to have the same play. They're going to throw it deep, look for the defensive foul.
Barry Switzer. Well, you know, we forget about Barry.
Well, you can't. He deserves his share of the credit.
Game
He
clock,
does.
3 seconds.
Well, they're going to give him another 2 seconds, but Barry deserves his share of the credit for the way that he has this Cowboy team playing.
He does it his way. He's a different kind of dude. He really is.
Well, he's just shown that there are more ways to to win than just the way that Jimmy Johnson did it.
Well, we mentioned Brent Musburger. We'll talk to Paul Tagliabue clearly about the Cleveland-Baltimore situation and about the Jerry Jones lawsuit. Had a chance to visit last night with Michael Irvin at the very top of his game, coming up on our Lexus halftime report. 3rd down and 10, or 3rd down and 51 in effect from the 49-yard line. Pete launching it, looking for a tip, and instead it's Dion with the interception. And Dion was thinking about getting up and running it back 96 yards. And gets tackled back at the 1.
That goes into the file, though, as an interception. His first, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it's his first as a Dallas Cowboy.
So we're at the half. Cowboys lead 17-6. And back we come after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations. We start the second half at Texas Stadium in Irving. Chris Boniol to boot it for the Cowboys. Back to receive Kelvin Martin and Charlie Garner. Dallas up by 11 at the half. It's a short kick. Martin, as they call him here in Dallas, takes it at the 19 and brings it back up to the 31. Kelvin Martin taken down by Charlie Williams, and there is a flag down. So take a look at a beautiful shot of downtown Dallas, Texas.
There's the penalty flag. The Metroplex. The Dallas-Fort Worth area. Just every time you come here, it seems like you see a building or two that you didn't see before.
Got a face mask call here against the Cowboys, and Joe Avisano said, against my team?
Joe says his new CD will be out in the spring. He's a budding country and western star.
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. Warner Brothers Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, coming soon to a theater near you. And the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well.
Well, there's a tagline you can relate to, huh?
I've got to see that movie immediately.
I just looked over there to see if that's indeed what he read.
Yeah, it's right there on the card.
2 or 3 commercial breaks is about Al's limit.
First down at the 46 after long drives, though. Here's Ricky Waters picking up 2 up to the 48-yard line. Dixon Edwards makes the tackle. 2nd and 8. Take a look at the numbers. Remember, Dallas dominated the first quarter, and the numbers a little closer after the first 30 minutes. But still almost a 2-to-1 edge for the Cowboys in total yardage.
It's a real struggle for the passing game for Philadelphia Eagles without Fred Barnett, who's unable to go with that pulled muscle. They really miss him.
2nd and 8 at the 48-yard line. Pete comes back this way, and Kelvin Martin makes the catch at the 45-yard line. Darren Smith with the tackle.
A good look at what goes for the West Coast offense, and it was Rodney Peete looking right. First receiver checking off. They protected for him, and he finally came around to his 3rd receiver. And how many times have we seen 49er quarterbacks do that?
I think the key was what you mentioned. They protected him. Rodney Peete was allowed the time to survey the field.
3rd and 1. James Saxon and Fred McQuarrie in the backfield, and they give it to the rookie McQuarrie, and he gets taken down before he can pick up a first down. The rookie from Mississippi State, the first guy to hit him was Robert Jones, and he says, "No, sir."
Decision time now for Ray Rhodes, and he's going to go for the first down.
It's 4th down and a short yard at the 45-yard line.
Either that or the long count. We've seen that happen on occasion, trying to draw them offside.
Ricky Waters is the sole running back in this set, and they give it to him, and he picks up, I think, the first down. He had to get right to the stripe at the 44 and appeared to penetrate that. Irvin McCormick makes the stop.
And they went to the right place. If Russell Maryland and Leon Lett are not manning the 2 tackle places, run it tight to the center. This is a football team without a lot of weaknesses. It's if they're going to miss 2 of their frontline stars, you might as well take advantage of it, because there are precious few chinks in this armor.
And you would have thought that Philadelphia would have been more successful running the ball. They've run the ball well over the last 5 weeks, over 100 yards, had 239 yards against Washington. But they've struggled tonight.
They give it to Waters. And Waters picks up about 7. Coming into the game, the Eagles had averaged 4.6 yards per carry. That's very good. The league averaged 4.0.
And a critical drive here for the Eagles, and they've got a good one underway as they've moved it inside the 40-yard line of the Cowboys, but they're only down here 17-6. If they can possibly get a touchdown out of this drive, they've made it a 17-13 ball game. 3.6 per carry. Not terrible, but not great either.
This will help the average as Waters picks up the first down, and Ricky takes it to the 26-yard line. Dixon Edwards makes the tackle.
Good read by Waters to get to the outside. The Cowboys in one of their not too often blitzes got caught in it, and Waters able to scamper to the outside.
I think Ed West, the tight end, got a good block at the point of attack. He's number 83. He pins Tolbert back to the inside. That's what allowed Ricky to get outside.
First and 10 at the 27-yard line. Pete. And the catch made at the 2-yard line by Calvin Williams. Terrific catch.
A great catch by Calvin Williams.
Got position on Brock Marion to take it away.
Well, he just literally took it away from Marion. Marion, the safety, drop it into the coverage. This deep zone. They play a lot of 2 deep zone, and Brock Marion was over there. Good position. And Williams just goes up and somehow manages to pull it in.
Great play.
Effort.
You saw Rodney signaling hurriedly, get the goal line offense, and first and goal, Saxon and McCrary in the backfield. They give it to the rookie McCrary.
Hello.
And he gets banged down at the 1.5 yard line, the rookie from Mississippi State.
Darren Woodson.
Yep.
What a snapping tackle that was. How about that catch by Williams? He caught that thing with every part of his body except his hands. Cut it with his elbows, his forearms, his stomach, his thighs.
It's a good place down here for the Eagles, and they have it, and that is a little quick roll with Rodney Peete. He can run with the football if he has to. Give him a roll and give him an option.
Dave Campo hoping his defense can step it here on second and goal. They give it to Waters, and Ricky burrows into the end zone. We're waiting for a call. It appeared he had it clearly.
Definitely.
And finally, you get a call from the head linesman, and he was a half yard into the end zone. And the Eagles are right back in the game.
Well, don't give up on what works, and what works is hammering again at the defensive tackle position for the Cowboys.
And what a fine drive that was.
They should think about going for 2 because it's a 5-point lead.
You can make it a 3-pointer if you do get it in. That's what we're going to see.
And they look over toward the bench, and
well, they don't have the right people.
Well, they're going to probably have to spend a timeout, and they do, because they don't have the right people in for the 2-point attempt. They'll get them in with 9:34 to go on the 3rd. The Eagles kept this drive going on a 4th down and make it pay off. In the defense, trying to stiffen the 2-point attempt upcoming to try to make it 17-14 after the timeout. Ball at the 2. The Eagles have not attempted a 2-point conversion this year. Last year they were 0 for 2. Pete guns it into the end zone, and it's dropped. Juggled and dropped. Kelvin Martin, the intended receiver, in traffic. So the conversion is not successful, and with 9:34 to go in the 3rd, it's the Cowboys 17, the Eagles 12. Five-point Dallas Cowboy lead as the tandem of Irvin and Smith get ready to come back on the field. Dallas to receive the kick. Rodney Peete guiding the Eagles into the end zone, but the 2-point conversion attempt not successful. 17-12 is the score. Gary Anderson sends it down into the arms of Kevin Williams at the 5-yard line. Up past the 20, the 30. Finally chased out of bounds at at the 35-yard line. Another look at that great catch on the prior drive by Williams.
The touchdown catch, it was truly amazing. Brock Marion had great position on Kelvin Williams. Now he'll lose the ball right here. This is a good play. Now watch this. The left leg keeps the ball from banging into the turf.
And from that angle, it really did not look like the ball touched the ground.
No.
Looked like Calvin did a good job of really supporting it with his left leg.
Now the Cowboys from the 34-yard line. Aikman protected well, and the pass a little low for Jay Novacek up at the 49-yard line.
I mean, how often do we see it where a team early in the ball game has multiple opportunities to really open up a big lead? And that was certainly the case in the first quarter for the Dallas Cowboys. And yet here we are at the 9-minute and 18-second mark of the third quarter, and they just have a 5-point lead. And I'm sure it's very disappointing to Barry Switzer. His club has seemingly played better than this to be within a touchdown of losing the lead.
Second down and 10 from the 34. Smith. Well, you look at Philadelphia's 4-game winning streak, Dan. They just don't let you get away from them. They beat New Orleans with 5 field goals. They beat Washington in overtime. They beat the Giants by 3. Last week they knocked off St. Louis in a close game.
And it's, you know, that's reflective, I think, of good coaching. I think that's to Ray Rhodes' credit that he has convinced his club to play within themselves, to have confidence that they can win close ball games. And you can see the rain beginning to fall a little heavier here in Dallas. But still, I give Rhodes credit for that. It's a tough thing to sell that to your team.
Third down and 6. Aikman to Irvin. He has it at the 45. He gets spun down by McMillan, but he has enough with his forward progress for a first down. Knew exactly how much he needed, and he gets to the 45. Michael, in his last 6 games, as he comes up a little gimpy here, has been in triple figures 6 games in a row. The NFL record is 7, so he can tie it tonight, and he's just about on a 100-yard pace at the moment. 61 yards on 6 catches to this point in the game.
And he's hobbled right now.
First and 10 at the 45-yard line. Whistle before the snap.
You know, if I'm Michael Irvin does appear to be hurt. You see him looking at that left ankle.
Moving prior to the snap. Number 79 offense, 5 yards, first down.
Of course, if I was a receiver, I'd do that right before I ran a fly pattern.
You're that kind of guy.
Darn right. Be a little deceitful. Let's take a look at it here.
A whole lot of spinning going on there. This was the play before. McMillan had him wrapped up, and Irvin trying to get free of the tackle. Not the contact. He was just spinning and twisting on that ankle. He looks like he's all right.
First and 15 now from the 40-yard line. Emmitt picks up 3. Still haven't seen Deion Sanders in there offensively tonight. We did see him on a punt return, but with that strained hamstring, Ernie Zampese saying before the game he would be a little tentative putting Deion into the game, and he wasn't kidding.
That's Switzer's intent, is to get a dozen plays out of him a game. He would really like to do that. They were disappointed that against Atlanta he only got in about a half a dozen, and he said to Ernie Zampese, let's run him some more, and Ernie said, well, we only got 5 plays for him, and Barry goes, we'll start him over.
Second and 11, and it's Michael Irvin. So much for that gimpiness. He's out of bounds at the 18-yard line.
That put him over 100. Guess the ankle's all right.
Looks a whole lot better, doesn't it?
38-yard gain, 99 yards for Michael tonight.
Just credit that offensive line. Now, this is the crossing pattern. Michael Irvin from the right side, taking it deep down the middle. Aikman with all the time in the world, letting him uncover, and then laying it right in there.
What a perfectly thrown pass.
First and 10. Emmitt to the 10-yard line. Tackled by Bobby Taylor.
He does make some collisions.
Well, this is a big cornerback now. Bobby Taylor's a rookie, but he's 6'3", 216 pounds. This is not your ordinary flyweight out there at the cornerback position. Now, this is a guy that will come up and pop you.
But he was the hitty then.
Yeah, but he's still a man-sized player out there at corner.
That's 100 yards on the ground for Emmitt Smith tonight, 99 yards in receptions from Michael Irvin. What else is new?
Emmitt's not done yet.
That's 103 and a first down. It'll be first and goal as Emmitt Smith takes it to the 7-yard line.
The ball is the 7-yard line.
5:25 left, third quarter. The Cowboys on top 17-12. This drive started at the Dallas 34. Check in motion. Irvin split to the left. Here goes Emmitt through the middle. Takes it to the 3. Kevin Johnson makes the hit.
Isn't it something you just see over and over? Really good football teams. They lie dormant for a while, then they get challenged, and it's like somebody slapped them across the face and woke them up out of some sort of a deep sleep. The Cowboys are instantly responding with a drive, trying to assert themselves as, hey, forget what you think. We are in control of this game.
9th play of the drive. Second and goal from the 3. Emmitt Smith looking for his 16th touchdown of the season. He has it.
Emmitt didn't like being pushed there. Yeah, I think he's just going back over to tell McMillan.
A 65-yard drive, mixing it up between Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. All of it effective. Again, out in front of it, the big man, Darrell Johnston. But nobody up to contain.
Bonio for the point after. The big 3, Aikman, Irvin, Smith. That is some trifecta. Triplet power. Texas Stadium in Irving as the second half of the season begins. The Dallas Cowboys trying to run their mark to 8-1 as Bonio sends it down to the 8-yard line. Kelvin Martin wrestled down up at the 20-yard line. Marion and his friends, and Robert Bailey in on the tackle as well. Cowboys up by a dozen. Skyline of Big D. Dallas, Texas.
What's that green one? Do we know?
It's one of the downtown.
It's one of the downtown buildings.
Nations Bank Tower.
Yeah,
like you right off the tip of my tongue. First and 10. That's where I get my toasters. This is Garner picking up 4 up to the 24-yard line. Second and 6.
You were here for the All-Star game, weren't you?
That's right. The Texas Rangers hosted the All-Star game this summer at their beautiful new facility in Arlington. Everybody looking for a new facility these days, no matter what the sport is.
Nice. That Cleveland deal, that's nothing short of astounding. If the financial figures we keep hearing about what Baltimore gave Art Modell, just stunning numbers.
Second down and 7 from the 24. Pete throws, and it's caught by Williams, a little short of the first down up at the 30-yard line. Speaking of the Browns,
I noticed you called them the Browns instead of Cleveland.
The Cleveland Browns, and stay tuned for that story, which will, I'm sure, continue on. Cleveland against Pittsburgh, which for years has been a fantastic rivalry.
I'll tell you, this move got Dan and I off the hook. We had picked the Cleveland Browns to go to the Super Bowl, and we meant Baltimore.
Right.
Yeah, well, at least I had them playing Dallas, not the Giants.
3rd and 1. And Ricky Waters pulls his way to what he hopes is a first down, and as we widen out, he appears to have it.
I wondered when you'd get around to it.
Well, you did set yourself up for that.
I certainly did.
Well, I'll say this about Cleveland. I grew up in Canton, Ohio, and I grew up a diehard Cleveland Browns fan. I feel for everyone in Northern Ohio. There are not better football fans anywhere in America than the Browns fans who have supported that team for decade upon decade, and I feel for every single one of you. I know how badly you hurt tonight. There's a real passion for the Cleveland Browns.
1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Waters picks up 2. Dixon Edwards makes the stop.
I have such great memories myself, Dan. I started playing there in 1952. I've played there for 12 years, every year, and some of the great games. Jimmy Brown, I think of some of those great players, the Dante Lavellis, Lenny Fords,
Marion Motley,
Just
Otto Graham.
Well, you're going to leave out somebody because they've had some great players. And going back for the first Monday Night Football game was in Cleveland. A lot of memories.
2nd and 8 up at the 33-yard line. Pete sacked by Haley. Sooner or later, Charles would be in charge.
Well,
You think of impact player, you think of him, don't you, Dan?
And we're watching a rookie earn his stripes under fire in Barrett Brooks, the left tackle. But Charles Haley, don't worry, Barrett. It's a long line of offensive tackles made to work really hard by Charles Haley. This is an upfield, looks like a speed rush, and then what Haley does so well with that great leverage, he dips underneath, stands you up, and runs you back into the quarterback.
3rd and 12. Pete throws, and that's incomplete. Garner can't handle it. So it's 4th down. They'll punt. That's sacked by Haley, by the way. 9.5 for the season now for Charles. Bryce Pop of Green Bay, 3 yesterday, is the league leader with 11.
The thing about Charles Haley is you almost can't judge him by sacks because of the number of pressures that he gets. Charles Haley, in my mind, leads the league in pressures and disrupting a quarterback's rhythm.
Tom Hutton. They're caught at the 23-yard line by Kevin Williams. Cowboys take over there. 1:02 left in the 3rd quarter. 24-12 Dallas.
In a world where toys come to life, they're 2 heroes.
Hell yeah.
2 rivals.
Don't even think about it, cowboy.
I don't like confrontations.
Too close to the edge.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I got dibs on his head.
Now, to make it back home, they'll have to become 2 partners.
This is no time to panic.
This is the perfect time to panic. Buzz, will you get up here and give me a hand?
Toy Story. Rated G. Starts Wednesday, November 22nd.
I wish this could last all night. All night.
Duracell. Oh, it can. And tomorrow night, and maybe the next night, and the following day. The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
Now, you can save 25% off regular prices on some of Goodyear's most popular passenger performance and light truck tires. Everyday low prices start at only $19.99. Believe it. Just turn up at any participating Goodyear retailer. But hurry, this sale ends soon.
Take a look at the numbers for the big 3. Troy Aikman, a typical night, 14 of 20, averaging a little bit more than 8 yards a pass, 1 TD, and the interception off the Michael Irvin play where he had the ball and then lost it. Smith, 110 yards on the ground. Irvin, just a yard shy of 100. Typical night for the big threesome. 1st and 10 Dallas in the 24.
That's what's extraordinary about these guys. There's nothing unusual about it.
Catch is made by Kevin Williams. Up to the 35. How do they stand among the league leaders right now? Troy Aikman, and this is right up to the second, leads the league in pass rating. Jim Harbaugh of Indy would be second. And then in rushing, Emmitt Smith up to the second, 1,089, a huge lead over Barry Sanders, leads him by more than 200 yards. And Michael Irvin right now trails Eric Metcalf of Atlanta by just one catch. In the history of the league, no team has ever had 3 guys lead in those respective categories at the end of a season. Smith. Just a little housekeeping, by the way. I think I had Bryce pop before, still playing with Green Bay, which would be news to Buffalo.
Green Bay would love to welcome him back.
Right.
Having a great year.
They would. Pop leading the league with the Bills now with 11 sacks.
Look at Emmitt Smith, and we look down the road at the games that we have remaining on our Monday night schedule. Final game of the season, Christmas night. He could be going for that 2,000-yard mark.
Cowboys leading by a score of 24-12 at the end of the third quarter. And Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations.
Emmy winners Faye Dunaway and Peter Falk play a game of seduction.
Would you be very angry if I did that again?
Columbo, it's all in the game Thursday.
Suppose I were to offer you $1 million for one night with your wife.
An impossible question, an unthinkable notion. But will she do it? Demi Moore, Robert Redford, the network premiere of Indecent Proposal, Sunday.
And good sporting, everyone. Dave Tester at Middleton High School, where the District 3 All-Star Volleyball game is underway. We'll have highlights of that tonight, as well as the story on Cleveland moving.
No money down always delivers at Target Mitsubishi in Boise. That's right. Today at Target Mitsubishi, absolutely no money down delivers. A 95 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Front-wheel drive sports car performance with AM/FM stereo, dual airbags, and more. All just $279 a month with no money down. Eclipse, no money down, just $279 a month.
Do something smart with your money. Let Target Mitsubishi show you how with no money down.
Now everyone knows that Fram oil filters regular to $2.99 each are 2 for $5 every day at Shucks. But get this, Shucks and Fram are also giving away a trip for 2 to Super Bowl 30, 50 pair of Tasco binoculars, 100 official NFL Super Bowl footballs, and 1,000 Super Bowl hats. So if you want a shot at 2 tickets to Super Bowl 30, enter the Shucks Fram 2 for the Super Bowl sweepstakes today.
Shucks Auto Supply.
Sports coverage with something extra. Dave Tester, weeknights at 6 and 10.
Irving, Texas. Start the fourth quarter. Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, Lynn Swan. It's 24-12 Cowboys. Second down and 5. Dallas at its own 40-yard line as the fourth quarter commences with Aikman handing the ball to Emmitt Smith. A first down and a lot more into Philadelphia territory and a run out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
And just domination at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Frank, you talked about Emmitt on Christmas night perhaps going for 2,000 yards if he keeps up this pace. The other record that's well within his sights right now is most touchdowns in a season. John Riggins holds that record, 24 in 1983 with Washington. Emmitt now has 16.
Emmitt's going to, at this pace, he's going to break it handily. You think that Emmitt is either going to have a TD drought or get hurt to not really seriously challenge that record of Riggins.
Interesting thing about Smith is that Emmitt has all of his touchdowns this year on the ground. Normally he picks up a couple through the air. He had 35 receptions.
Well, look at this. Emmitt and Johnston both still on the ground.
Coming in. Well, the last time we saw Emmitt, last year the last time we saw him on a Monday night game was the night he pulled a hamstring, and in his career he has been incredibly durable. He's only missed one game because of an injury. He missed 2 others when he was holding out in '93. And the Cowboys.
I wonder whether they bothered to call timeout. They just brought out the entire medical staff of North Dallas.
If it's an injury timeout, they both have to come out of the game for a play.
Well, Johnston for sure is heading to the sidelines. Emmitt is showing no inclination to head for the. Let's watch this. Daryl Johnston is out in front. And Emmitt comes down on top of Johnston. He actually lands right on the torso of Daryl.
Yeah, I guess when you think about it, you just have to take one guy out of the game, even if two get hurt.
That's right, only one of them.
Timeout, yeah.
Yeah.
And they take Darrell out of the game. Emmitt stays in. It's second down and 8 at the 42-yard line. There goes Aikman, and he slides to a halt at the 35 as if he's going into second base. 3rd and 1.
It's got to be frustrating for a defensive back to just stand there. You know that every atom in your body would like to lay a shot on that quarterback. And Michael Zordich had to just stand there and watch Aikman come up and slide right up to his feet.
That's one of the reasons I think defensive players so resent the quarterback.
Really? You're right.
He's got, every year they put in another rule for him.
Put it back.
Excuse me now. The mentality of the defensive player is one thing. Let's get that sucker.
He started this line at the 37. That's where they mark it 3rd down and 3. From that spot, can Emmitt pick up the 3? No, that's news.
Oh, a nice play by Kurt Gouveia. He has been a huge addition here for this Eagle defensive team. Byron Evans no longer manning the middle for the Eagles, and Gouveia came over here from the Redskins, and boy, has he made a big addition. He has really solidified things in the middle here for the Eagles.
He's a big pass defender for Washington for so many years, but he has been tough against the run here in Philadelphia.
Every time those flames come up there, I think I'm watching The Wizard of Oz.
Well, we are in Kansas, are we not?
It certainly is green.
Here's the punt by Jet. Fair caught at the 12-yard line by Kelvin Martin. And that's where the Eagles will take over for the mounting of what they hope is a fruitful drive. It's an important drive. They're down by 12. The Philadelphia Eagles have the ball at their own 13-yard line. 1st and 10, 12 minutes, 13 seconds remaining. In the 4th quarter, the Cowboys on top 24-12. To the outside. McIntyre picking up a 1st down. It's a 13-yard gain run out by Irvin McCormick. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Delta Airlines. You'll love the way we fly. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. Aptiva, the home computer from IBM. Welcome to the future. And Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. From the 26-yard line. Garner. Flag down. Stopped at the 28. Tom White. Holding against Philly. I want to congratulate Raleigh McKenzie of the Eagles, the center, his wife giving birth to a baby boy last Friday, Malcolm, and Michael Irvin's wife gave birth to a baby daughter last
Holding,
week.
number 62, offense, 10 yards, 1st down.
McIntyre, a friend of mine, Bruce Jenner, gold medalist, and Chris Jenner had a little baby girl, and I get to be godfather. I've never been a godfather. Kathy's godmother, Kendall Nicole. They're 9th between them.
That's right.
That's quite a group. Congratulations, Bruce and Chris.
Baseball team. 1st and 20, back at the 16-yard line. Waters in motion. Rodney P. guns it up to the 29-yard line, complete to Kelvin Martin.
Pass completed to Kelvin Martin.
13-yard gain, 2nd and 7 at the 29.
Well, if Dallas is going to sit back in a softer zone, that's a way to work it. Do the hook right across the middle. That's exactly what Martin does. Rodney gets a good look downfield, splits the safety, sits down, and a nice throw from Rodney, who puts it down low, and Kelvin gets the catch. One more of those, and they'll have themselves a first down, and this drive can continue.
2nd and 7. Waters. You know, it's funny.
One more of those, and the drive won't continue.
You know, you go along all night long, and you have to remind yourself to talk about Dion defensively. Just looking at him out on the field, and he takes away half the field. That's why they have him. He's had a pretty quiet night because the Eagles have given him a pretty quiet night.
It gets kind of boring, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody, you know, first of all, the Eagles don't have the number one receiver, Fred Barnett, here, and Dion will take anything they've got right out of the game.
Well, Rodney's going to look that way. That one gets batted. Batted incomplete by Chad Hennings. Hennings from the Air Force Academy and getting the start with Lett out and Maryland out tonight.
And he's a long one, too. 6'6", getting better each year. He goes back to the Texas-Ram days.
Of the 30 teams in the NFL, this is the 29th ranked passing attack possessed here by the Philadelphia Eagles. I think if Dion was to play a game with a bad hamstring, this is the game to do it.
Hutton bounces that one out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Cowboys take over at that spot. 10:03 left in regulation. Cowboys 24, Eagles 12. Just an efficient performance tonight. What more can you say?
Efficient's a good word, I think. They've kind of neutered the Eagles.
You said something prophetic a while ago when we were in a commercial. How many times we watched Dallas just reduce a team to knowing, they can't win?
It's just their superior talent. They overwhelm the Eagles without making them look all that bad. It's an efficiency. I think, Al, it's an excellent word.
That's Irvin now over 100 yards for the 7th consecutive game. Most of the good things we say are during commercials.
A lot of people think so.
So Michael Irvin, that's 7 games in a row now in triple figures, and that ties the NFL mark.
You know, we talked about this streak coming up here of these 4 games for the Cowboys, and you get a good listen here to the Dallas crowd as they applaud Michael Irvin, and they appreciate this guy. But I think at the end of this 4-game stretch, we're going to find out what we knew going in. The Dallas is a class in the NFL.
Here's Emmitt Smith. And he picks up a first down and 13 more yards on the ground for Emmitt Smith. Meanwhile, back to Irvin. 7 games in a row in triple figures in receiving yardage. The record held by a pair of Houston teammates, the Oilers in '61, Bill Groman and Charlie Hennigan on the same team in the formative stages of the American Football League.
George Blanda throwing some of those passes?
I would think
he was.
Of course, Charlie Hennigan for years held the record for the most receptions in a single season until that one went down and has been broken repeatedly.
Flags down. Well, speaking of Hennigan, he holds the single season record of 1,746 yards on receptions, and Michael Irvin is on his way to breaking that mark.
Eagles William Thomas a little early across the line of scrimmage.
Offsides, number 51. Defense, 5 yards, first down.
It'd be funny if Michael Irvin broke the record, but Isaac Bruce got there first.
Yeah, he did.
He could.
We have a situation here in a ball game here with 8.5 minutes left to go in the game, where the overwhelming pressure that's applied by this monstrous Dallas offensive line really starts to show up. Missed tackles up front, guys look at that hole. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but that's just a case of a superior group here really starting to dominate.
But he doesn't take away anything from a pretty strong Philadelphia defense. They were ranked second of the league coming into tonight. Dallas does this to almost every team they play. They're going to roll them off the line of scrimmage. Emmitt's got 2 or 3 yards before he's even touched. Huge gaping hole. And it's domination.
It's not going to get a lot better. They won't stop coming at you.
Emmitt has 150 yards before this carry. 5 more. 155 takes it to the 30. Greg Jackson makes the tackle.
And look out if Greg Jackson doesn't make that tackle. Emmitt broke one up at the line of scrimmage. Made one guy grab him and miss. Emmitt's going to check out here for a play. But if Jackson doesn't snag him, look out.
What a lethal combo. Emmitt Smith against the Eagles and on Monday Night Football. He's had a tremendous amount of success against Philadelphia, and does he ever love the Monday night spotlight? Some of his best games have been under the lights.
One of the genuinely nice people you'll ever meet, too. He is so thoughtful, so involved in so many good things.
Sherman Williams comes in to spell him in the backfield. Aikman hits Novacek, and Jay trying to pick up the first down, reaching, and he's close to it.
I think he got it on the surge. They pounded him back out over the 25, but they're going to give it. It's going to be very close to the first.
Clock ticking down.
He's the one that just quietly beats so many people, Jay Novacek.
6:31 remaining in the fourth quarter.
He's up there close to 40 receptions himself.
Hard to find a Pro Bowler on a team that is so far down the recognition ladder as Jay Novacek is here in Dallas on this offensive. You know, here's a guy that he'd be a triplet on any other team. He'd be a twin. He doesn't even, he's a quad on this team.
Sherman Williams for a minimal gain. Williams was their top draft choice, came in the second round, rookie out of Alabama.
Brought down by Kirk DeVea.
And well, as long as Emmitt is here and healthy and all of that, I mean, Sherman's going to be relegated to a backup role. And let's take a look at Smith at the moment. 154 yards on the ground and 22 more on receptions.
No, but if this drive gets anywhere down near the paint, down towards the goal line, it'd be real tempting for Emmitt to come back in.
Play fake, a deep Aikman drop, and complete. We mentioned Emmitt on Monday Night Football. He hasn't played that many games in his career on Monday night. Take a look at this. Tony Dorsett gained 1,897 yards in his career in 25 Monday night games, and there are some of the other guys, and that's a who's who. Thomas and Harris and Payton and Dickerson. Go down to Emmitt Smith, 9 games and 1,200 yards, already 6th all time.
Walter Payton never played behind an offensive line like this, and nor did a lot of those other backs.
And guess who's back in the lineup?
Guess who has the football? But he's a little short of the first down. Well, he's considerably short as he takes it to the 20. It'll be 4th down and 6.
He's again in another awkward spot, but
and Boniol will come in to try to extend the lead to 15 points.
Okay, this is still a very tough, scrapping Eagle team. They have not rolled over. They're still theoretically in this football game.
37-yard attempt for Boniol out of the Novacek hold. And he boots it through. 4:45 left in regulation. The Cowboy lead is now 15. Aikman and the Cowboys up 27-12. 4:45 left, fourth quarter. Boniol. This is Charlie Garner at the 2-yard line. Back up to the 20. The Eagles take over there. 4:35 left in the fourth. Cowboys 27, Eagles 12. .435 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Dallas Cowboys trying to go to 8-1. And the Kansas City Chiefs at 8-1 would own the best record in the AFC. Dallas the best record in the NFC. The Eagles with a loss would go to 5-4, but still in very good shape in second place in the NFC East in terms of playoff possibilities. 1st and 10, Philly from the 20-yard line. Pete with heat, look out, intercepted Larry Brown. Touchdown Dallas. Flag down. At the 15-yard line, a marker is down.
number 72. Offense, penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Well, Larry Brown's 4th interception of the year.
He's having a big one.
He sure is.
Tried to get it to Waters. Watch him step right in front of it. Great look, guys.
Yes.
You could have caught that one yourself. Larry Brown, 4th interception. Returned this one for a touchdown. One of the first one there to congratulate number 21, Dion.
Larry Brown has been in the league for 5 years.
12th round draft pick back in '91.
His first career touchdown. It's the 7th touchdown the Eagles have allowed on a return this season. 4:28 remaining in the 4th quarter as Dallas wraps it up 34-12. And let's check in with Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Well, Al, I'm down here with some very special guests of Deion Sanders. This is his grandmother, Hattie Mims. This is his mom, Constance Knight, and this is his wife, Carolyn. And I'm going to come over here and ask you, Carolyn, we knew Deion had a little tender hamstring coming in. Did he have some doubts about his ability to play in this game?
Did I? A little. I did a little bit, but I knew nothing would keep him off the field. If he could stay on the field all game long, he would, on offense and defense. So I knew he would play.
I was surprised about that reverse.
I was too.
well, Constance, I'm going to ask you, Deion is such a competitor. Is there any way in the world he would have not played with that hamstring?
No, not at all. He wouldn't have missed this game for nothing.
Now, I also noticed early in the ball game, Deion made a solo tackle, and I looked at the two of you over the three of you, and you were kind of smiling and maybe laughing a little bit. What were you thinking about?
No comment.
No comment. Well, he's doing a great job. Thank you. Enjoy the game.
From the Lexos Diamonds, he did a great job a long time ago.
He continues to do it.
I'll tell you, there's something Deion didn't get from his mother. No comment.
Yeah.
There's a phrase that he doesn't quite know what it means.
You saw about 35 carats from...
Yeah. I want to know what the insurance premium is for those pieces of jewelry.
Well, Fort Myers, Florida, pretty proud of Deion. That's
well, you think Mom and Grandma are not happy? It a matter of the criticism, and it's beginning to go away. I mean, everyone you talk to in this game from the defensive side of it said they'd love to have him. And he fits in as such a team player everywhere he goes.
Pete has to take a timeout. One of the teams that was in the, I don't want to say the finals of the Deion Derby, but in the Derby were the Eagles at one point, and some people thought because of Deion's relationship with Ray Rhodes, and keep in mind Rhodes was the defensive coordinator at San Francisco last year, so Ray was Deion's position coach, and the two got along extremely well, and the Eagles at least made a pass at Deion early on.
It'll tell you the respect for Ray Rhodes too. I don't think they've thrown a pass in Deion's area yet tonight, and that the head man knows him probably better than anyone else. He had him, as Al said, a year ago out in San Francisco as a defensive coordinator. He knows what he can do, and he's not going near him tonight.
Well, Ray Rhodes, it's nice that the Eagles are 5-4, but we can't kid ourselves and think that the Eagles are really going to be a force in what happens in the playoff picture this year. But anyone looking at this team, no matter how prejudiced an eye you might have in either being for or against the Eagles, has to recognize that Ray Rhodes has covered a lot of ground in a relatively short period of time as far as rebuilding the Eagles in his image.
Rodney Pete on first down throws. Catch made by Calvin Williams. He gets wrestled down after an 8-yard gain.
This is an Eagle team, in my mind, that plays a lot more aggressively, is playing with more confidence, and you don't have to sit with Ray Rhodes very long to find out that he might have been a defensive back and a receiver, and he's not a real big guy, but he's tough. He demands that his players play tough, and this Eagles team will make noise before it's all over.
Credits much of that coming from Bill Arnsparger, whom he played for when he was with the Giants as a defensive back. You ask him who had influenced him the most, and he mentioned Bill Arnsparger.
2nd and 2. Double coverage on Ricky Waters. Got Case and Deion back there.
Deion getting a little help back there. Scott Case coming over to help out.
Well, they didn't split anybody out wide for Dion to lock up on, so he was forced to fall back into his zone. The Cowboys forced to play zone to that side of the field because they didn't have a wide out for even line up on Dion. One thing to line a guy up on him and then plan to not even go to him. It's a different one to not even send anybody out there at all. That's really a concession.
3rd and 2, and that's batted and incomplete. And Woodson angry with himself, might have had a pick.
That's a recipe for disaster by the Eagles.